I'm James.
And I'm Wanda,
and welcome to
In Becoming One.
One.
In Becoming One.
One.
In Becoming One.
Where today we will have a little fun, kind of reminiscing on some past experiences and
Mistakes.
choices that were made that you may laugh along with us after you hear this video. So
Maybe you've made some mistakes in your marriage and life too.
yeah, you remember tell me about that 1996 Mazda Protege, 150,000 miles for $18,000.
Yeah.
That was
And I remember you telling me that the windshield wipers flew off when you were on your way home to Arkansas.
yes. Or at one time, I think we were driving and it was raining, and so you turn the windshield wipers on, it gets so dirty or muddy you can't even see. So
Because they were bad.
they were bad. I didn't know anything about a car then. It was horrible.
So, babe, if like you bought that car because we were under a crazy situation, right? Like you thought or you found out someone hurt me,
Correct.
and you were in Virginia at the time, and you decided to like get this car to get yourself home as quick as you could.
Right.
So
Not knowing anything about any type of finance, any type of anything, being 19 years old and trying to get a car, and I had no clue what was going on. Then I caught myself trying to get some advice from a few people, and some people like, yeah, that's a good idea. Then come to find out years later, man, that was the worst idea ever. that was the worst idea ever.
do you remember you used to call the car your baby?
Yeah.
And the alarm on the car sounded like a dog barking.
But you remember when I hit that telephone booth? So
Yeah.
when the door opened, it sounded like a shotgun. So every time I open the door, everybody ducking.
But do you remember how you hit the telephone pole?
Yeah, because I called you on the phone.
We just moved into our apartment, our townhouse, and they hadn't turned the telephone on.
So I went to use the phone.
So you went to use the phone. It wasn't your baby anymore.
It was something else.
If the situation was different, do you think that you would have gotten the same car or been in the same situation?
No, I think I probably would have looked and tried to research better, or try to get someone to actually help me to identify the proper way to get home, or I should have just took a bus.
Do you think that it was the worst thing that you did?
No, I think it was more of a learning experience. I mean, the car did do us some justice, just praying over it and all that, but it did us some good for the meantime. It taught me bad and good.
Do you remember how we went about getting rid of it?
I think just by me sitting back and just praying to God, like, hey, God, if you want us, you have to help us get rid of this car.
Because no one would
Because
take
nobody else, nobody would take the car off our hands for anything. So we knew it had to be God in regards to me praying about it. Then finally we took it to a place that was in Hampton, Virginia. Freedom Forward, for a matter of fact. That was the name of the place. And the dealership like, oh yeah, we'll take it. And
I don't think I even remembered that it was called Freedom Forward.
Yeah, it was called Freedom. It was Freedom Forward.
Interesting. I remember when you had came home and you had stated, hey Wanda, let's go and take this car up here and see if we can get it traded or whatever. And I'm like, dude, we've been to so many places. No one's taking it. They keep telling us we have to pay money for them to take our car. Like, it was so bad. And I was just so done. I didn't want anything to do with it. And you were like, no, let's go up there. Let's go up there. And I don't know why I just listened to you, but, I'm glad I did. And we went up there and, they did all their car dealership stuff. And all of a sudden it just worked out, and they actually gave us a little money for the car. And we ended up getting a brand new car, and we ended up paying less for the car than what we were paying for the jacked up car that we had. And
Mazda Protege.
And it was such a big blessing for us. We went through so many financial issues during that time in our life, and having to juggle being newly married and going through financial issues, issues with the military. We went through a lot of stuff during that time frame, and I just really remember praying so often during that time and really getting, probably, I think that's the time that we probably got the closest, in our faith walk as early adults, like young adults.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out what this thing looks like what does Christianity look like and everything. And I don't think it was an easy task or an easy road, but I think that anybody has the ability to walk that out as long as they do one particular thing, which is pray.
Right. I think the other thing is, as newly married couples, old married couples, middle married couples, whatever you want to call them, we will always run into some type of situation in regards to life and finances and marriage. But it's just up to you how you handle those situations. God tells us to trust in Him according to Proverbs 3:5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. But, as long as we sit back and trust God in everything that we do, then the marriage is not as bad as it seems. You just have to sit back and rely on your spouse to be able to help you through those situations. But, ultimately making sure that you are staying in alignment with what God has for you, because if not, then, you'll just be recreating the hamster wheel, just going right back into the same issues that you went through before.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree. And, that wasn't the end of our mistakes.
No.
We made at least...
We made several more mistakes.
Yeah, especially with cars.
Especially with cars. We had an Alfa Romeo over in Italy. I was getting ready to go to a doctor's appointment on base. And I'm at the hospital. So I'm praying, God, help me get rid of this car. God, help me get rid of this car. Lo and behold, I was coming up one of the highways, and next thing you know, I had a head-on collision with another car. I was not expecting to go to the hospital the way I did, but I went to the hospital, and the car was totaled. And God helped me get rid of the car. But
and then he complained because he had just put gas in the car.
Just filled the car up too. And go to the impound place to get my gas. But it was, as you're praying, just be more specific with God in regards to how you want to handle a situation, because God can help you get rid of things, but He's not going to sit up there and make you have a head-on collision like I had. But I think it was more of me not being specific in what God had for me, as well as understanding the true nature of having true ownership of what God has given me authority to manage.
During that time of our life, we were really trying to focus in on what God wants for us.
Right.
Not the way that we're doing now.
Correct.
But we were really trying to focus in on trying to become more unified for ourselves. But during that time, it was more so for our children and what that looked like, because we didn't know what that looked like. But I remember praying that morning that you got into that head-on collision, and the Lord
that I got into that accident?
I was praying. I was praying, and the Lord's Spirit actually told me you were getting into an accident.
Oh, wow.
But that you would be okay. So when the police officer called me, and she told me that you were in an accident, I started laughing. And she was like, "What are you doing?" And I know it sounded crazy, but I knew you were okay. So therefore it was I wasn't expecting him to that to happen that quickly, and that I knew what was going to happen, he just prepared me. When couples are really in tune with trying to come together, and you're praying for one another and you're encouraging one another, you're trying to become more aligned with God in your own personal relationship with Him, He has the ability to prepare your heart. He may not always speak to you, because He speaks to people differently, but He may prepare your heart in all kinds of different ways for whatever is going to
Yeah.
come knocking at your door.
And I would say that just by us being over in Italy, it gave us that chance to like Wanda was saying, to bond with one another, as well as it gave us a chance to get to know God more, because we were isolated from a lot of family and friends, and all we had was ourselves and our children to deal with. So by being in isolation, sometimes God has to isolate you from the actual outside, get all the outside noise out, outside influences out, so that he can work on you and your spouse one-on-one, not with everybody else, or everybody else trying to tell you what to do and how to do, but you and your spouse are doing it the way that God calls for you to do it.
Yeah. And so we just wanted to talk to you guys about like what's on our hearts today. We're just trying to enjoy what God has given us. I think it's easy for us to look past as people. I think it's easy for us to look past what good that you have in your current life, current situation, current season. And instead, we really need to come to a place where we can be grateful for what you have. Oh no, I'm crying.
And if you like our videos, please like, subscribe, and so that we can keep trying to give you all our hearts and minds of what God has called for us to do, because we were not always like this, but we want to make sure that we are able to reach those that want to hear us, as well as laugh with us, cry with us, and do what's on our heart.
Hopefully a whole lot more laughing. That's just
And make sure that you subscribe.
Yes, like and subscribe. Ciao.